Taking a live look now at the big board, the Dow Jones Industrial hovering, a little bit over 46, 48 points. This midday closing just under 13,000 points. It's quite a rocky Monday morning, of course, and you are here to tell us what's going on. Two big developments. You've got the Greek restructuring of their debt, and also the word out of China that their deficit is the largest it's been since, 1989, both of them having a major impact on the global economy.
That's right, and the markets are beginning to digest some of that. They weren't really expecting the China news, which is really rattling the market, the bond market, I should say. The U.S. Government this morning auctioned off some treasury bonds, and the largest holder of U.S. bonds are the Chinese. If the Chinese are having some deficit issues, they don't have enough money to buy our bonds, and you saw the auction today, the interest rates were a little bit high, and that could trickle down to borrowers, that buy cars and buy houses. So far we haven't seen it yet, but something to keep an eye on. One thing I would say, the stock market up until now has had a really good run, and I always say this, watch the math. In the first 2 months of the year, the Dow, the NASDAQ, the S&P 500 have really bumped up a lot, and you always have to remember that it can't go up every day, nor does it go down every day, but watch the math. If the market's up 10% in 2 months and you project that out, that's like a 50% increase for the year, highly unlikely for that to happen. So just make sure that you don't get caught up in all the excitement.
Now, how does the Fed meeting this week play into this?
Yeah, and the Fed's meeting this week, and we don't think they're going to raise interest rates, but what we will watch for is to see how much they're going to be buying treasury bonds. The Chinese haven't stepped up this week. If the Fed does that, that's more money into the system, and they're doing this to try to keep interest rates down. So people buy cars, people buy houses, or they refinance their mortgages. But as that money comes into the system, like I've said before, we just have to be prepared that there may be some inflation coming, and we're seeing that in higher gas prices.
Bernanke's been warning about that.
He has been warning about it, and Congress is just ignoring him.
Oil prices, gas prices, a big factor here.
Yes, and I think that's why you're seeing the auto sales do okay for certain companies that are selling smaller cars. And I always say, just because energy prices are up for certain cars, if you drive an SUV, you may not like it. If you drive a Prius, not the worst thing in the world. So there's always somebody who's going to benefit from all this, and the alternative energy companies are doing okay. But hopefully, as the Fed does this action and doesn't have to hopefully print as much money in the future, oil prices will stabilize a little bit. But it's not going to happen overnight.
Something that might have more of an impact on us here in southern Nevada, housing prices having an effect on the rental market.
And something interesting I read this morning, rental rates are going up faster than the house prices are coming down. And usually what that means is if rent prices go up, more people will tend to buy houses. Hopefully that'll happen. Rental prices year over year are up about 4%. Housing prices are down about 6%. So usually if you're looking to go out and rent, maybe it's cheaper for you to buy at this point. The only fly in the ointment is getting that mortgage. People are having a lot of trouble getting mortgages.
Just really quickly, I want to thank Michaela Zern for stopping by Starbucks this morning, because this may be the last time we get to pay $4.23 for my little version.
Yes, as a little quick aside, coffee futures are down. I actually got an email from a viewer this morning asking me, how quickly will his Starbucks coffee come down? So I throw that out there. Companies like Starbucks buy their coffee like a year in advance, so don't hold your breath. Prices won't come down that quickly, but maybe there's hope.
I'll prove.
I know.
Thanks, Steve.
I know.
Michaela.